video on TikTok. Yeah, so basically I could give some context here as much as I can, because it doesn't necessarily say much, but you'll decide what you think of this video and the commentary behind it. Take a look.
What the? I mean, I can't believe you queue like this on the pavement to get on here.
No, I can't believe.
Look at them. Oh, this is...
Julie, you can't post this on Facebook, eh?
No, but you have to send it to me. There's three. Spot the white here.
That one's got... They dressed as sailors.
Where?
They were dressed...
Okay.
Yeah. That one's got it.
Look at this one. Check these two with their sailor hats on. Check.
It's a beautiful boat.
That's where all those Indians were going dressed in white and blue.
Oh, yes, look here. I'm looking at... And the ship is full sailing. Hello, policeman.
The ship's going to sink.
I would actually cancel my trip.
I'm finished. I'm absolutely finished. I wonder how much it costs.
No, look at the queue there.
It's hundreds of fucking people.
So you see it yourself, right? From looking at the video, you've got two ladies. Of course, they're not showing their faces, and basically you can hear by the commentary and even by their voices that these people are white people, right? And of course you can hear by the commentary behind every single thing that they see as they drive by. It would give you a, like, what do you mean? You get what I'm saying? So like spot the white, or of course the one lady alluded to the point where she said, oh, I'm going to cancel my trip, and I think this was all over Twitter, if I'm not mistaken, and it did rub quite a few people the wrong way, particularly me, because I think to this extent we know that we're living in a new era where people of color can afford to go on trips, especially cruise ships. Cruise ships are not necessarily a palm colored thing, it's a everybody thing. If you can afford to go on cruise ships, you can go, and that has nothing to do with your racial orientation in any way whatsoever. So I don't understand where they were going though with this, but anyway, there was one particular TikTok or commentary based on this video. So basically she gave a commentary, and yeah.
Something I will never get about the smooth-brained racists we've got in South Africa is their entire lives exist around the people they hate, okay? And that's black people. So much so that you would do this on your holiday. You will drive to a place and record the people that you can't stand going on a holiday cruise, and then tag the rest of the smooth-brained Cook Sister Mafia group on the same post and say, passengers lining up to board the new luxury MSC ship in Durban. Het julle bespreek, so did you book? I mean, any normal person that is driving past something like that will think, wow, lucky them, I would like to go on that. But no, let me show you some of the responses to these smooth-brained racists that we have in South Africa. No wonder the rest of the world makes fun of white South Africans. Having a cruise holiday with my tax money. Yeah, no, everyone that goes on a cruise, you're using Renel's tax money to go on a cruise. The poor oppressed people. Okay, so according to JJ, black people cannot have jobs, can't save, can't go on a holiday. Because, this is a sign that there isn't poverty or inequality in South Africa. Dumbass. Shame. Shania wants to pretend he's actually been on a cruise and that he has friends. And now, because black people are going on a cruise, now it's going to be a shit show or a joke. Dude, get a life. Imagine the smell. For a group of people that we know hang out at Steve Wolfmeyer concerts and bliksem each other over the head with bottles, we understand that you are probably used to the smell of cheap brandy, cigarettes, and dry blood. But yeah, anyway. The thing is that as you read through the comments, you recognize two things. Firstly, that they're just embarrassing themselves because they've never been on cruises. I mean, there was one guy that made a comment about people catching a minibus to go on a luxury cruise. It is clear that he has never been on a cruise in his life, because he would have known that you don't park there. You normally take public transport, or you take an Uber, or you get someone to drop you off. And he thought he had like a win there, and a number of others. And you can clearly see these are the kind of people that should rather just, stay at home, or, stick to going to a pub and listening to that fossil Steve Hofmeyer singing and bliksem each other over the head with brandy bottles like they did recently, the guy from the Bitter Einders, and stay away from the cruises. But more importantly, is that it's the absolute anger in them that black people can actually do something that they've reserved in their minds for successful white people. So it's our underachievers amongst white people that actually do this kind of thing, that can't imagine that black people can do this. And someone that explains this kind of rage and pathetic behavior by white people very well is Professor Carol Anderson, and I'm going to finish off with this video.
Thinking through how white rage works, it became clear to me that the presence of black people was not the trigger for white rage. There's that stun. Almost, what you talking about, Willis? Look. It is the presence of black people with ambition. The presence of black people with drive. The presence of black people with aspirations. The presence of black people who achieve. It's the presence of black people who refuse to accept their subjugation. The presence of black people who demand their rights. That's the trigger for white rage.
As you've heard on the video, what this content creator was saying, and of course she also stitched a video from Professor Carol Anderson, if I'm not mistaken, with that little clip. And that goes back to, I've seen this a lot. I've seen this quite frequently in the spaces that, maybe a space that you're in where it's predominantly white. It's not even a situation of somebody saying something to you, but it's something how a person will look at you or how they treat you in their spaces. Of course, when they'll give you that "what are you doing here" type of look. I think everybody who's a person of color on the platform and watches my videos can basically relate to situations that pertain to this, because I think it also comes back down to, we've always had these things that are accessible to white people for the longest time. Now, of course, black people are allowed in the spaces because they can afford it, because black people have the drive to be in these spaces. They have the drive to work hard and basically live in areas where it's affluent and predominantly white, of course, so it irks certain individuals at an extent. It irks them, and they just can't stand that. I would say that it also is generally presence. It's not only your drive, it's also just your presence in general that gets them triggered in a sense, because it doesn't fit to what they are used to. It's not, because now they're going to be like, okay, it's that old age saying, oh, there goes the neighborhood type of situation, because that was what that video was before. It's like, there goes the neighborhood type of situation. And the thing is that at the end of the day, black people can afford to be in these spaces. Black people can, afford to get on trips and stuff like that. And of course, you saw from the echo chamber of Twitter users, and the comments that they were throwing out there was just to say, oh, okay, oh wow, look at that, look at the black people. Yet most of them, or some of them, haven't been on cruise ships at all in their lives. So it also plays, and it is correct as well, plays a jealousy kind of role. I've seen this play out so many times in my experience in my lifetime, where you've been treated a certain way, and I've got many stories to share, and I'm sure these stories are relatable as well, so it's like, you see it, and how you deal with it is entirely up to you. I personally don't let these things get to me, because I know, you know, at the end of the day, I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. You might as well get used to me. That being said, you know, I think it's a shameful thing. We'll never see the end of it. And that's the thing about, you know, the videos that I've posted before, and which are race related, of course, that shows you that there are people and individuals here that are not willing to change, because they have their own little spaces where they talk about things in their behind at the dinner table. You know, I've said it before, and I'll continue to say it, is that, you know, and unless we live in the so-called quote-unquote new South Africa, you know, there's certain things that will still be that'll still be there at the end of the day. And you know, the whole thing is that it's also imperative as a people that we don't allow this type of rhetoric to feed into our young people and our kids. You understand? Because, you know, we live in one nation. It doesn't a rainbow nation doesn't only apply to certain things. It applies to everything. It should apply to everything, because people have the rights to do it. Everyone has the same rights. Whose rights are different from others? That shows you the type of people that we deal with in this world, is that their rights, they feel that their right to certain spaces and you're not, because of your skin color, which is insanely asinine if you ask me, man. But yeah, man, just a short one I wanted to share with you. Just a bit, you know, it does get a bit disturbing because of the commentary behind those two ladies, which is actually despicable, you know. But at the end of the day, they live in the country. If I always say this, and I always share the same sentiment, if you're not happy with the state of where the country is going in terms of people being accessible to certain spaces, go to another country where people that look like you are there, and solely entirely there, where they're predominantly there, and they can all share space and you can be comfortable. You know, I don't think the country here, or anybody in any case, is going to move out of the way just to make you feel comfortable because you're so fragile. So that's just my 2 cents of the matter. It's a really sad thing to see, 30 years since our democracy, rather. But at the same time, you know, people shouldn't be surprised at all, because you should always anticipate these things to happen. I've seen people's reactions so many times of how they deal with people of color and how they act towards people of color. This is just it, you know what I'm saying? But again, it's not all people who are white people. There are good white people out there. It's just that, unfortunately, you've got the trashy ones that actually talk like this and think like this, that make those ones look bad at the end. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this particular story. If you want to kind of like and subscribe, you know, let's get this going. And yeah, until the next video, guys, peace.